What the fuck? Alright, I'm gonna do this review with as few spoilers as possible, in general, so don't worry about anything major being spoiled, because trust me, if somebody just walked up to me and started reading off the ending, I'd be pretty fucking pissed too. I'd probably kill them.
Oh my god, did you see at the end of the game, you rise up, and then there's... Wait!
Die! So, Mass Effect 3 is a pretty damn good game. It really gets across this feeling of the entire galaxy being consumed in total war. There's a lot more down and dirty, aggressive street-to-street fighting. It's a shame then that after 30 hours, all I can remember, all that sticks out in my mind is the last 10 minutes. Those last fucking 10 minutes. That nearly ruins the entire franchise. It's so insulting, so out of place, so unfulfilling and nonsensical. I have to do a completely separate video, a top 10 reasons why the Mass Effect 3 ending sucks balls, just to cover it all. But for here, just know this. It makes no sense, and it goes against the Shepard character. And despite being promised that all your actions through all of the games and acquiring all these war assets, that all of that would affect the ending in a meaningful way, then you realize that is hardly the case. You will have 3 options with slight variations ripped straight from Deus Ex and Deus Ex Human Revolution. Now the story has you collecting, as I said before, war assets, allies, solving the problems of the different races in the galaxy to get them to come together and fight the Reapers as one. You also manage to uncover plans for a device called the Crucible that is thought to be a weapon to help stop the Reapers. Anderson will hold down the resistance on Earth while you rush out into the galaxy to put all these pieces into place before it's too late. It's incredibly tense and incredibly engaging. So let's start with what the game gets right. With increased emphasis on actual open warfare, the game benefits a lot from the improved combat system. Cover works well, combat flows easier, Shepard feels more agile, and he even has this Gears of War type melee attack. And pretty much everyone that ever played an important role or that was in your squad during the franchise makes at least a cameo. Some even temporarily join your squad. Morden, Legion, and Garrus all have really badass scenes that just befit them and solidify them as some of the most badass characters in this franchise. They even have some time for old favorites.
Isn't it true that you were on Earth when the Reapers attacked? How do you justify running away while millions of people on Earth die? Is that the best we can expect from the Earth?
I've had enough of your tabloid journalism.
Ha! You want some?
I take back what I said about the Jersey Shoreification of Mass Effect's characters. They're fine, if a bit lacking, but we'll get to that later. Ashley is good looking, even if she's constantly screwing up. And Vega isn't all that bad.
You down here for a reason?
I just came down to talk, Vega.
Great. You think you dance and talk at the same time?
I think I can manage.
Okay, Loco, let's dance.
Don't push your luck, Vega. With age comes wisdom. Ah!
Is that what they taught you in the academy back in 2012, old man?
No, they taught me this. Notice the power arcs towards the target. Upon impact, the singularity creates a gravity well. Now that's instantaneous. What is the hardest thing you've ever had to do? With intelligence like that, I need you alive! Good sparring match, Vega. BioWare has even put in an openly gay character that you can have sex with as he grieves for his previous partner's death.
This is a massive operation.
But no one is forcing you to have gay sex, so it's completely cool. There's no reason for idiotic people to bitch about including this. BioWare is gay-friendly, evidenced by Dragon Age 2. Dude, put your shirt back on! More emphasis was also placed on femship, a win for females portrayed in gaming.
That my father is working on something for the elusive man. Something big.
Why would your father be working with the elusive man? Especially now.
There's even a cool reversible cover, which I switched to the chick. And in the game, there are a few key slight conversation differences. Such as when Rex says the girls think too much, she replies, "You should listen, sometimes we have good ideas." There's also a female bonding moment when you save the Krogan as femship. Things like that, but mostly the voice actress Jennifer Hale does an amazing job. In the future though, it would be cool to have even more differences in the dialogue to give us guys a reason to play back through the game as the female character to see things from a female point of view. And even though there's still a war going on, there's still time for you to unwind at certain points. You can revisit the dance floor. Hell, they even took my advice on the galaxy map. While not exactly star traffic with all these different ships, you could still get intercepted by Reapers as you scan for war assets. It sets off a ping and alerts them to your presence. So you're all like, you know, oh shit! Go, 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 go! Fuck! But it does seem like a mixed opportunity to actually use some space combat. Ah well. Mining is replaced by finding rare artifacts that you overhear while you're on the Citadel, and boy is Shepard a nosy one.
We need those discs.
Definitely.
They're the most promising source of information that we have on the Reapers, direct from Prothea. If it were me... Wait, who is that?
This will lead to a scanning minigame that works a lot faster and a lot better than the mining minigame. Unfortunately, no Mako. The Unreal Engine helps power the game so the graphics impress and the backgrounds are filled with intense war-type scenarios playing out. It does wonder for the atmosphere. It's also really good that the acting remains top-notch as well as the soundtrack. All of this is key to getting the atmosphere right and showing just how high the stakes have gotten. Missions, however, do get a little bit less creative as you're forced into more military-style objectives. You are in a massive war, after all. But one standout mission, though, pertains to Legion, where you finally get to visit the Geth homeworld and experience their collective.
Windows are structural weaknesses. Geth, do not use them. Approach the hull at these coordinates. Access achieved. We may proceed.
Connect works awesomely, but for one thing and one thing only: issuing commands to your squad members. For everything else, like conversation options or use keys, it's just pointless and awkward. But I did really pause for a second and giggle when Liara actually did what I said.
Fucking shields. Liara, singularity. Yeah! Now what? Bitch! Float away.
I also experienced 2 different game-ending freezes. Thankfully, the game does have a good checkpoint system, and you can always load a previous save. There's so much more on the good side, little things. But the most important thing was how enjoyable the story was and how engaging it was till the very end. Now for the things that weren't so good. I don't like this progressive move away from RPG-like elements. It's not balanced anymore between the two. There's no inventory system to speak of when the potential for so much awesome loot exists in this universe. The promise of more customization ultimately fails to deliver. There's maybe only 5 or 6 armor sets that we've mostly all seen before. And for some reason, you can't even take your helmet off on all of them except for the N7. And that disconnect between the RPG and the action game is apparent. The quest system is complete and utter fucking shit. There are literally tons of quests, side missions, and tasks. But there is absolutely no way for you to track your progress on each. How could something so basic be overlooked? Did all of the RPG-minded people get fired? The only way to figure out whether you've completed a quest is to travel all the way back to the Citadel, then run around the entire Citadel trying to remember what that quest giver looked like and talk to that person. Or you can go and transverse the galaxy if you remember what planet this particular artifact was supposed to be on, avoid the Reapers, waste a bunch of fucking fuel, and then realize that you already have it, or that you don't know where it is! And you can't go back into your quest system to get updated objectives. No! It stays static, and you never know when you've completed it or when it's ready to turn in. Do you know how many load screens you have to go through for all of that? The fuck? I also did not like how this game has a smaller roster than the previous one. There's only about 6 with the DLC, compared to like 11 with 2 DLC. If you had an attachment to a previous squad member that isn't a squad member in this game, too bad. Making matters even worse, 2 of those 6 squad members are completely uninteresting. Edie and Vega. Edie seems like just a way for that chick from Battlestar Galactica to continue to play a robot. That poor lady, does she get any other roles? I wonder what she feels like.
It was not a seamless transition.
And Freddie Prinze Jr. Now I like the fact that they want to include a Hispanic.
Hey, thanks for the dance, Loco.
Loco, huh?
I can think of worse things to call you.
Long as you remember who's in charge, you can call me whatever you want.
Oh, I won't forget.
But this character is extremely boring compared to characters of past. Like I would rather have Morden. Or hell, I would have even rather had that old Batarian soldier that's disgruntled with you.
Vengeance. The Bahak system.
They would have died anyway when the Reapers showed up. You know that. I'm uniting the Krogan and the Turians. We're the best hope for this galaxy. If you care about your people.
Ah! Our ships are yours.
That would have been more interesting. There's also no loyalty missions, which may make more sense. Characters are already loyal to you at this point. But that makes it seem like there's less for the characters to actually do. Outside of, hey, you go repair the tower while you fight with me while he repairs the tower. So what we have is fewer characters that are less interesting. Another thing is that you never see any of the past characters or friends play a role in the actual final battle, which is disappointing considering the tense battle that you just got through in Mass Effect 2. It sticks out like a sore thumb. Each character should have got their own epic scene of glory. A huge part of the series has always been your relationship with these characters and these characters in general.
You've assembled the largest military force in history. Nobody could have done more.
We've lost so much already. Sometimes
You don't know if what'll be left was worth the fight. I know. And when I feel that way, I reach for you.
Thanks.
And this was downplayed in favor of the Reapers when it should have been entwined with it all, at least in the ending of the game. Multiplayer. Now, a lot of people think that multiplayer would take away from single player, or that multiplayer would be just this shallow tack on. Well, they're right about the latter. It doesn't take away from the single player, it doesn't seem like it, but it's basically Horde mode light. When people like me were asking for multiplayer, it was cooperative multiplayer through the campaign. Not the most tacked on, afterthought multiplayer out there, Horde mode. Yes, it's interesting to play with the other races for a time, but that wears off quickly. BioWare tries to keep the mode interesting with these trading card-esque reinforcement packs that you can unlock either through in-game credits or real-world money. But it's not worth it at all, and it just feels like an extra way to get even more money out of you after your $60, $70, $80 game. Then there's the Day 1 DLC for 800 Microsoft points. Why Kasumi is only 560 MS points, and Javik is 800, I don't know. I think you know though. For $10, you essentially get to fill a hole in your fucking ship, get a 30-minute mission, maybe 45 minutes max, and get arguably the best particle assault rifle in the game. The Prothean himself is kind of a letdown, at least to me, and with so few squad members in Mass Effect 3, it's an insult to restrict one of them, the one with the supposedly most interesting and relevant backstory to what's happening, out of the entire lineup of new characters. That's bullshit.
Thank you. That meant a lot. Commander Shepard, it must be an honor to have a Prothean fighting alongside you.
I'm just glad he's on our side. You haven't seen him get angry.
Neither have you, Commander.
Finally, there seems to be some really baffling design choices that make you scratch your head. Like Deanna Allers, Jessica Chobot, from IGN. Why is Chobot in the game?
Why would I want that?
Wars can be won or lost in the editing room, and this war needs to be won.
This is so out of place, it's so distracting. Did like BioWare owe her like a favor or something? Did she do something for BioWare that we're not aware of? How did she get in the game? I don't get it. Oh, hi, BioWare. I was just, licking this Mass Effect. So can I be in the game now, please? No? Fine! At least Shepard is clearly in the Angry Army with his standard issue badass leather jacket. And you can dismiss Miss Chobot anytime you want. So it's just a small thing that just made no sense to me. More baffling is the actual thing that pisses you off, the reveal of Tali's face. One of the most anticipated moments in the series. Tali was the one that I romanced. And BioWare uses a stock photo off of Google, changes a few things in Photoshop, and says, here, this is Tali. This is the character you worked so hard to see. We could not be bothered to create our own. That's how lazy that is. Enjoy. If you want to see, I posted it on this post on my website, the picture of it. It is unreal. And finally, I think you know it. That ending. I have no desire to replay the game like I did with the first and second. In fact, I wanted to replay all 3 games and switch it up and see how it is. I don't want to do that no more. I want to forget about it. You don't learn what happens after. You don't know the fate of all these relationships. Nothing. What is this, being saved for DLC? For real? You don't do that. You don't do that. You want to show something that happened before Mass Effect 3? Okay. You want to show something that happened in the middle of Mass Effect 3? Fine. Or maybe even that runs at the same time, like Anderson and his fight on Earth. that's cool. Or years after. But to DLC the actual ending? No! 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 While Mass Effect 3 concluded the series and had a bunch of awesome CGI space battles that I couldn't partake in, it's Mass Effect 2 that ends up overall the more satisfying experience. That's why my final verdict for Mass Effect 3 is an 8 out of 10. It is an awesome game. Don't ever get that wrong. Now, I would have brought it down possibly to 7 out of 10. A great game for all of the tomfoolery, online passes, DLC, robot dogs, and BS practices. But most of you have decided, along with me, that that shouldn't affect the rating of the game. In a direct way, it should just be mentioned. But with an ending like that still fresh in my mind, I just can't bring myself to issue a badass seal of approval. I am issuing it to the whole franchise. Mass Effect earns the badass seal of approval. It's a damn good franchise, an action franchise. I hope in the future we can get a real RPG space game at this level of quality. I don't know what's next for the franchise, but I do know it's not over. If Halo's not over, you can bet your ass that Mass Effect is not over. And that's what has me scared. But hopefully it'll be something that we can all embrace instead of cringe at. Until then, I'll see you guys on the next Angry Joe Show.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Give it to me now, give it to me now, give it to me now.
I wanna lick you from your head to your toes, and I wanna move from the bed down to the floor, and I wanna you make it so good. I don't
Come down here for a reason?
No. Can't what?
Can't watch what? Yeah! Getting tired!
Shut up!
Come down here. I'm holding this for 15 minutes.
Wow, the bar weighs 10 pounds alone right there. 20 pounds. Who've ever had to know? That is instantaneous. So,